everybody, how are you? My name is Dawn, the Life Harmony Coach with lifeharmonycoach.com, and welcome to my vlog. So today I'm going to discuss about the ketogenic lifestyle and my experience on that. So what you will learn today is just an overview of my own personal experience. I'm not giving out healthcare advice at all. This is just for your information. And so also I want to give you guys an update on the 30-day challenge that we did this past July. And by the 3 weeks into it, I was kind of over it and just had a really busy week. And unfortunately, we ended up having to order out a few times because I was so busy at night, didn't have time to cook. It was mostly just salad and chicken. It wasn't completely ideal, but I wanted to let you guys know that my digestion feels stronger. The benefits I wanted out of this, I got. I'm sleeping better. My adrenals feel like they've reset and gotten better. So yeah, even though it wasn't perfect in the end, it still benefited me quite a bit. So I was super happy about that. And yeah, so let me give you a little bit of background before I get into the whole ketogenic thing. I started it on February 12th, 2018 this year, and studied it for about 6 months prior. And the reason I wanted to do that is just because I had the time to, because about 2 months prior to doing this, we decided to do an elimination diet. I have sensitivities to dairy, so I wanted to do dairy while I was on keto. And plus on top of it, my body was pretty inflamed and stressed out, and it just needed to calm down. So it was suggested by a naturopath to do it, and that's what we did. It was like so bad that I would take like supplements that help reduce inflammation. It wouldn't even work, you know. And after doing that, those supplements began to work, and I felt a little bit better. So in starting keto, the first few weeks you can get something called the keto flu. I'm not going to go into what keto is. It's pretty popular right now. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to link in the description below a video on a nutritionist I really like that explains keto really well. It's been around for about 100 years. It is well researched. A lot of people think it isn't, but it is. A lot of people think it's another version of Atkins. It is different. I've done Atkins before and failed. This I've done, not a problem. But I was nervous about the keto flu, which is just you get flu-like symptoms, you feel really tired. And so what we did is we made something called Keto Aid and drank that every day. We took the proper supplements, made sure we drink enough water. That's the most important thing when you're on this, is that you're drinking a ton of water. And we ended up not really having much symptoms of the keto flu. So I, like within the second week, felt like this general malaise that just wasn't even relieved by sleep or taking a nap, which was very unusual. And there was one particular day where I got a what was it? I got like hold on, I got someone call me. Let me just get them out of my screen. I got a low-level headache and nausea. I ate a little bit more protein, felt a little bit better, and yeah. So it wasn't a big deal at all. I made sure I'm still in this, continuing to take the supplements that I'm supposed to be taking with that. So within the first 3 weeks, I lost about 15 pounds. Within 3 weeks, I was keto adapted, which means you're fat adapted, meaning that you're using your ketones and fat for energy. And they say if you're gonna start on this, at least do it for like about 2 months. Don't quit any sooner than that. And honestly, to tell you the truth, guys, even though I looked into this for quite some time prior to doing it, I'd highly, highly recommend that you do it with a healthcare provider or someone who knows keto, a nutritionist, a keto coach, because even I'm a practitioner of Chinese medicine, and even the amount of work I studied, I still felt like I could have used a little bit of help on this. But within the first few weeks, you lose a lot of water weight because you don't hold on to water like you used to. And so that the weight comes off really easily. And then within the next month, I lost about 10 pounds. Then after a few months, I started getting stressed and began to Yeah, I started getting stressed and not sleeping well. Let me just tell you a little bit before that I get into that, though, first. After 2 weeks of being on it, I went to my doctor to get my blood work done. And guys, my blood work changed significantly after just a couple weeks on this. So for years, I've always had issues with triglycerides. And what I have realized was that it wasn't a fat issue. It was more like a issue with us and our family digesting carbs and sugars. So if it, for me, was below 250, which the norm is supposed to be under 150, then I was super happy with that. But unfortunately, it never hardly went under 150. So anyhow, I ended up, within like 2 weeks of starting on this, it went under 150. The other thing I struggled with is that you want your HDL to be high, that's your good cholesterol. And for years, I had been taking high potency omega-3s, exercising, doing all the things the doctor said. It was always really just borderline, but they say it's pretty dangerous if it's not high enough. And after just a few weeks being on keto, it went to the normal range, you know. So that was really, really significant. I also suffer for many years. I've had hypoglycemia. I felt like this really helped with that, increasing those good fats. And then there were many, many times when I was on this diet, or just eating this way. I don't call it a diet, that's why I call it the ketogenic lifestyle. That I would just have these moments of clarity where I'm like, oh my goodness, I feel great. I don't feel like I am on a diet. I feel amazing. And so the reasons we wanted to start this, it was really for the therapeutic reasons. Personally, for me, I wanted to have increased energy, better sleep, and reduced inflammation. And I have benefited from all that, especially the energy part of it. Then, like I was saying before, I went through a period of time where for about, after 2 months of being on this, I got really stressed, and there was a lot of transition change within my company. And I ended up having terrible insomnia, you know, and being on this particular way of eating wasn't helping that situation at all. And I would kind of experiment a bit with doing moderate carb loading, and I noticed on those days that I did that, I felt a lot better and I slept better. So I ended up listening to this nutritionist who does keto for women, and I had heard in the past several doctors say, depending on their patient, that they would increase their carbs at certain times, sometimes in the morning or at night, you know, depending on what their needs were, and it would help them, you know, with whatever they needed help with. And also I have heard, particularly for women need a little bit more carbs than men. And so I have found that to be true. So I started to increase the amount of carbs I was doing, and then my sleep regulated, it got better. And I, during those 2 months I was stressed out, I gained back 9 pounds, which was pretty disappointing. I kind of had to go away from looking at, you know, what was going on with the scale and look to more of the other benefits I was feeling on this, because I was feeling good, you know, energy for the most part. And but then over the next 2 months I lost 10 pounds. So I lost that weight easily, and I've lost 5 more pounds since then. So I've lost almost about 30 pounds total since I've been on this. And yes, it's slow going. I started recently, over the past month, doing more cyclical, you know, one day doing a strict keto way, trying to stay between 20 to 30 net carbs or under 20, and then the next day doing more moderate loading. And that's why I lost the other 5 pounds. So personally, let me just tell you what I feel like this diet really offers people. It's not just a fad. It's been around for almost 100 years. It's been highly studied. There's a documentary out on Netflix if you want to know more about it called The Magic Pill. I highly recommend you watch that, because it documents several people's lives completely changing over this whole thing. One of the things I was super impressed about this is, for number one, I was hearing a lot of people in my industry, like Dr. Axe, Dr. Jordan Rubin, people that are more natural healthcare, talk about keto for its therapeutic benefits. And a lot of people are going on keto for their therapeutic benefits, not for just weight loss or weight control. That's what really impressed me about this. So there's a lot of studies out there that show that this actually does work if you can get just one thing from this video, understand keto is not just one way. It is extremely, extremely flexible. You can do it vegetarian style, vegan style. It's just not about bacon and butter. You can do it Mediterranean style. You know, you can have different macros. You know, everybody's unique and different in their needs. So it's extremely flexible. The other thing that really attracted me about this too was that, you know, if you get off of grains and increase good fats and you're off of sugar, inflammatory foods, you're going to feel better in general. So overall, I've been feeling really, really good doing this. And I just know that if I go through periods of stress, or if I'm going through periods of sleeplessness, I'll need to probably do some more carb loading at that point. There was this one particular time where my husband and I, we were usually on Sundays, if we go out to church, a lot of times we'll like to go out to eat on the way home. And we had planned on doing that, and then decided at home, okay, we're gonna just cook our own meal. I have everything to cook it. And that morning too, we were practicing some intermittent fasting, so both of us were pretty hungry by the time we had gotten home. And there was this moment of clarity I had, because when we work together in the kitchen, sometimes we don't work really well together, and I ended up getting a little hangry and reacting to him. But at one point I had stopped myself, and then I had realized, wow, in the past with my blood sugar going down, I would have reacted completely differently than I was reacting at that moment. So all I did was drink some water, took a deep breath, and that was a moment that was a real big turning point for me, was that, wow, this has been life-changing for me. This is even changing my emotions and how I'm reacting to things, because my blood sugars are more stable doing this. And so that's been extremely beneficial. I just in general feel a lot better. I have always really good energy. I don't have a need for naps on a continual basis, but sometimes I do. Sometimes I just have a day where I just need to take a nap, but for the most part I don't, you know, which is fine, whatever. I feel like my inflammation has reduced a bit, not as much as I wanted it to. Okay guys, I apologize for that. It is a little while later. I just worked out, showered, and now I'm up here in the lobby of my club. So I just wanted to let you guys know my camera overheated. That's why it's a little while later. So unfortunately I had to stop filming. But overall, my experience on the ketogenic lifestyle was really good. If you have any questions, you can leave them down in the comments below. And again, my name is Dawn, the Life Harmony Coach, or lifeharmonycoach.com. Love and blessings.
I'm looking at the clear blue sky.